Enzo Maresca was speaking to the press ahead of the London derby between Chelsea and West Ham at Stamford Bridge. Here is everything Enzo Maresca said to the press ahead of that game, including Robert Sanchez. Do well to watch to the end. First of all, Enzo Maresca was giving an injury update. Enzo Maresca said, in this game, they have Wesley Fofana out, Badiashile out, and then Romeo Lavia out. All other players are available, they have fully recovered, and they are training very well. They are going into the game with every other player except from these three players that are out. Enzo Maresca was also talking about the need to respond to the loss against City. He said this is a good moment that they can use to come back to winning ways. The players have to perform. They have to give their best. They have to show the fans that they want to win. They need to fight very hard. This is a London derby, a serious game that Chelsea will not be going into this game thinking, okay, it can be any kind of game, that this is a game they must win. And they are taking it very serious all through the week. That has been the emphasis on training, adjusting a lot of things, improving on the training, and also motivating the players that they need to bounce back as quickly as possible. Enzo Maresca was asked about Graham Potter, whether he had any sympathy for him because he worked in dysfunctional Chelsea environment that was difficult. Enzo Maresca said he's not aware of what happened when Graham Potter was there, but he can say that since he started working for Chelsea, he was working in a happy environment, and the environment has been calm. The players have everything they need to work so hard to develop, to play the way they want to play. So he will not be here to say whether the environment Graham Potter worked on is different from what he worked on because he wasn't there. But right now, they're just focusing on the game. Enzo Maresca was also talking about the deadline in transfer. He said this also affects the players, the way they feel, they're human beings and a lot of things. But he was asked whether Chelsea are expecting incoming and outgoing. He said in transfer window, anything can happen. He's not aware whether there will be incoming or the outgoings, but the clubs are constantly working behind the scene that we are going to see what is going to happen. But right now, he cannot be able to say whether incoming or outgoing, but he knows that there will be a little bit of movement within Chelsea's squad. It can be outgoing, it can also be incoming. It depends on the situation. Enzo Maresca was also asked whether the noise affect the players. He said, but this is the same for every club, It's not only for Chelsea, it's the same for every club. Every club, there's a lot of transfer news. Some players also, they're human beings. They read about themselves on the media, a lot of things. Their agents are calling them. So these affect the players, but not just only for Chelsea, but it's the same for every club. So they will be happy when the transfer window shuts down so that all the players can now give their 100%, because some players, the reality is that they will only give 30% or give 50% while they focus on about the club where they want to go or the transfer rumors. But they are looking forward for the transfer window to be shut down, and then the club will now focus solely only on football. Enzo Maresca was asked about the tactics he used against Manchester City. They were asked that Chelsea played, mid-block, and they were trying to, be aggressive in the first half, but in the second half it was a different game. Enzo Maresca said this kind of thing can happen. That if you watch the game, the tactics worked very well. They could have scored 0-2 in the first 10 minutes or first 15 minutes, and that could have been a different game altogether. Because if you go to play against Manchester City, you have to be brave. You have to be brave, but also you have two styles of game to play against Manchester City. Either you decide to sit back and give them 80% of the ball. You can be lucky. You can be lucky to get a draw or lucky to get a win, but it's not guaranteed. You have to sacrifice the ball, or you have to go there being aggressive. Try to cover up spaces, try to marshal out, cover them, and win the ball quickly. Then hit them and then go and score. He said Chelsea did that very well in the first 15 minutes. If you watch the number of balls Chelsea recovered from Manchester City and try to, hit them hard. But unfortunately, Chelsea could not be able to sustain that pressure to score that second goal. And from there, they dropped. Then in the second half, you can see the difference between Manchester City and Chelsea. He said Ederson is very, very good at long balls. That when they tried to go man-to-man to be aggressive, you watch, Ederson made 3 passes. Ederson made 3 long passes, and with 2, Manchester scored. This is to show you the reality of Manchester City at the moment. The difference between Chelsea and Manchester City, he said, is inside the box. Manchester City scored their goals, they created chances, they were able to be clinical, and they avoided goals. Chelsea did not score their goals. Chelsea could not be able to keep clean sheet. Now, the fact that Ederson had 3 long passes and they scored with 2, and they could have scored with the third one, that is to show you the difference between the two teams. But the good thing is that they will have to keep working in this way. They have to be brave. They have to keep learning, and hopefully they can be able to be there. But the tactics generally worked very well, but the personality is what is different. Enzo Maresca was again asked about Chelsea. Chelsea are the top, crossers of the ball into the 18-yard box this season. Chelsea whip a lot of crosses inside the box, but conversion have been so low. He was asked whether McGeehee will be a solution because Nicholas Jackson have not been able to connect with crosses either with his head or any part of his body. Enzo Maresca said it could be that McGeehee is working very well, but we need to know that he's a young player. He's now improving himself. The physicality is there, the hard work is there, but they are taking time slowly to build him, and he could be the solution for now and they're working so hard that he's very close, that he sees him every day in training, and he's now very, very close to, playing these kind of games and helping Chelsea to convert the crosses. Enzo Maresca was asked about West Ham, that under Graham Potter, West Ham have changed their approach. They try to be aggressive. They try to now press. They're now pressing man to man. They're being aggressive on the ball. Unlike under Lopetegui or David Moyes, where they play low block. Enzo Maresca said that are going to expect a tough game. It's going to be tough because Graham Potter is an attacking manager, and he have watched up to 5 of their games since Graham Potter took over. They are attacking, they are pressing, they are pushing very well. So he knows that this game is going to be tough, but he believes that the players will have to be ready, and he's preparing the players to be ready to go against Graham Potter, to be able to face this game and to be able to at least try to get the 3 points for Chelsea. Enzo Maresca was asked about the goalkeeper situation. He said no decision yet. This is a huge one, that he will have to make a decision. Good thing is that any decision he makes, he will feel good, whether Jorgensen or Sanchez, because the reality is that they have 2 top goalkeepers. But right now, he knows that Sanchez is making mistakes, and Sanchez knows that he's making mistakes. So this is not as a result of maybe somebody is talking. He knows the problem. He knows what is going on. So he will make a decision, and that decision, he will be happy with it because he knows that the 2 goalkeepers have what it takes to play for Chelsea. Enzo Maresca was asked about the situation of Chelsea right now. That is the same situation he faced at Leicester. First 7 months, they played very well, then they dropped. It's the same thing with Chelsea. They played very well, but not up to 7 months, and then they dropped. Enzo Maresca said that if you watch the games, the reality is that they create a lot of chances. That Chelsea create a lot of chances. You can correlate the similarity between Chelsea and Leicester, but Chelsea are creating chances. That they control games, they've created chances. If you watch most of the games that they lost, they could have won in the first 15 or 20 minutes. That you can say that Chelsea, not in all games have they controlled the ball or have they controlled the proceedings. That some games they control for 45 minutes, some other games they control for maybe 80 minutes and not 90 minutes. Some other games they control for 35 minutes, but they have been trying to control games, and you cannot say in most of the games they completely deserve to lose. That most of the time they play very well, but then the difference is in the box. He said the box is a huge difference, that they concede the goals they are supposed not to concede, and then they don't score the goals they are supposed to score. So you can see that they create chances, they don't score, then one chance they concede, and this is also part of the things they're working on. Then the second aspect is that he is also working on improving and telling the players they need to perform consistently for 100 minutes. It's not enough for 90 minutes, it's not enough for 80 minutes. You have to play at the high level, and this is what they're working on. You can see the areas of improvement is very clear on what they're doing, but he knows that slowly they can also get there. He said one of the problems that also affected Chelsea is loss of Wesley Fofana. He said Fofana is a key man in this system, especially defensively, because he works so hard, he's aggressive on and off the ball, and immediately they lost him, you can see the effect on the team. But this is not an excuse, but this is also a general holistic overview that he's taking. He knows what they need to do. He knows the challenges they face this season. He knows the struggle, and he knows that with time they are going to be there, and they are working in the right direction. Over time, they can be consistent, and they will start winning well again. Enzo Maresca was asked whether transfer rumors can affect the players. He said 100%. They're human beings. You can see it even in training. Some of them don't train with all their heart again. Some of them give only 40 or 50% because they're constantly paying attention to the rumors, what is said on the press, what is going on, how they're going to move to another club, what their agents are telling them. And this will also affect the players, and it can affect the general team, the way they perform or the way they play. But this is also the same with every club, that they can't wait for the transfer window to shut down, so that those that want to leave will leave, or those that will stay, you know that they are staying, so that they can focus on football. But right now, you can say that this affects the players because they are human beings also. Enzo Maresca was asked whether it will help Robert Sanchez to take him out of the team, to give him some rest, also for him to be out of the team, to have a clear mind to play again. Enzo Maresca said this can happen. This is also a solution, that it happens with different players in different clubs. That he was reading that Luis Enrique left Donnarumma out for some games, kept him on the bench, but right now he's back playing very well. That this can be a solution, and this also works in football. But then they have to see whether he's going to do that or whether he's not going to do that. So Maresca was asked whether Jurgen Philipp is angry that he's on the bench and now maybe he might be called up. He said no. That when they had the conversation in June or July, he told Jurgen Philipp that Robert Sanchez was number 1 at that moment, and then he's number 2. But that doesn't mean that when the number 1 keeps on giving away the ball and conceding goals and causing problems or making the team to lose, that he will remain number 1. That things can change in the season. But during that moment, he told Jorgensen that he's number 1. But right now, they have to see. Now it's an open race for both of them. Work so hard, show me what you can do. So it means like what I'm deducing from Enzo Maresca, that nobody owns that position right now. It's whether you play very well, you're going to take over. And he will be happy with any decision he makes, that if he decide to play with Jorgensen, everybody will see what he has to offer. So nothing to worry about. Then Enzo Maresca was asked whether Chelsea are considering bringing either Kepa back because of the goalkeeping crisis. He said no, that is not an agenda. They're not looking forward to bringing him back. That is looking forward to Chelsea to bounce back, respond, and get the win against West Ham, especially against Graham Potter. Let me know what you think about Enzo Maresca's press conference. Remember, we are Beyond the Match. Follow us across all channels: Facebook, Beyond the Match; Instagram, Beyond the Match; TikTok, Beyond the Match; and then YouTube, Beyond the Match. Thank you very much and see you soon.